Hello, this is Luke Stokes, the Managing Director for the Foundation for Inter-Wallet Operability, the FIO protocol. I'm really happy to be joined today by Katie Z, who has joined our team and is helping us out with marketing and business development and all kinds of super cool stuff. She's actually on our newly formed steering committee as we're figuring out prioritization for all the cool projects we have going on. We have some really cool stuff to talk about today. Katie was kind enough to say, hey, let's jump on and do a quick video. And so I'm really happy to talk with you, Katie, and talk about cool stuff going on in the FIO protocol ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Luke, for that. Yeah, today is Friday, November 20th that we're recording this. Wanted to just hop on here, make this more of a regular thing. So you guys should be seeing more of me in the coming weeks and months. But one big announcement that we wanted to talk about was something that we just announced with Liquid Exchange. They have listed the FIO token, but more than that too, they are planning to integrate the FIO protocol into their exchange to make it easier for their users to send crypto.
Yeah, so before we show all that, maybe I'll just back up and talk about like, what is FIO protocols? Because maybe this is the first time you're seeing a video. Yeah, somebody sent it to you. And so I'll tell you kind of why I got involved in it. I've been in this space for almost 8 years now, and I sold my business so I could focus as a consultant and advisor in the space in the beginning of 2018. And I found this project because it was like, wow, we're making crypto easier to use for everybody. And I felt this was super important because of certain assumptions I had. One is that crypto mass adoption is inevitable. This is the best form of money ever invented. It's a ledger that is immutable and just every characteristic of money that you can imagine, cryptocurrency solves better than any humans ever been able to solve before. So again, I look at it and go, well, this is inevitable. It's going to take over. It's going to be phenomenal. But it's also really complicated and confusing and stressful, and it's not a joyful experience to send and receive cryptocurrency. It's big hash addresses, QR codes that aren't encrypted, the man-in-the-middle attacks, all these things. And so when I learned about the FIO protocol and its basic components, which are a human readable address, such as Luke@Stokes, it has a domain and a username as part of that address, where I can map any one of my cryptocurrencies that I want to that address. And that way I don't have to worry about these long, crazy hashes. I don't have to worry about if I copied and pasted the wrong one. When I interact with someone, I have a way to know that I'm interacting with the right person. In addition to the FIO addresses, we have FIO requests and FIO data. And these two features are basically payment requests and contextual information about a transaction. So instead of just receiving a random, Bitcoin transfer, you're like, you don't even know what that's for. You actually have memo data say, hey, this is for rent. This is for splitting, the meal we just had, or whatever that might be. And that message is encrypted and decentralized on the blockchain between the two people involved. And so that it is really important to me personally that we're not sacrificing what I like to call blockchain rights, the ability to be self-sovereign, control your own data, control your own store of value, and not have to have a single point of failure, have a decentralized system. So there's a third party kind of risk that might be able to censor your transaction or in some way manipulate it. And the FIO protocol being a decentralized solution to this usability problem on the wallet layer, I'm just very excited about, because it doesn't have to integrate with all the different blockchains. It actually integrates with the actual wallets, exchanges, anywhere where there's a user experience related to cryptocurrency. And that's why this announcement today is so exciting, because this is related to us continuing to improve on that process. We already have a dozen integrated wallets, exchanges, service providers, and it's just growing. And to me, it's validation from the crypto network that we need something outside of the kind of tribalistic, kind of walled garden approaches that a lot of people take, where they say, well, it works really good in our wallet for our token. And yet it's not something that's interoperable across the entire space. And that's what FIO provides. It's a way that you have a consistent user experience that's joyful and fun when you're sending and receiving crypto in multiple products and services, multiple wallets. And so that's very, very exciting.
Yeah, no, and to piggyback on that too, for those who don't know me or any of my backstory just a little bit here, is I met Luke, I met you back in early January at the Miami Bitcoin conference, or the North American Bitcoin conference, before the lockdown and all that craziness. And I remember we were at this like small offshoot event, and you were telling me about FIO protocol and what it does. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. This is something that we need, right? And so it didn't take much for me to agree with you, but it wasn't until I actually started to really dive into the project more, where it was like, okay, now this is really like lighten up every one of those buttons that I want lit up that got me excited about Bitcoin in a lot of ways, right? So I recognize ahead of most of my family and peers that this is the best form of money. And these are the reasons that I like it. You can be self-sovereign. And then you start learning about, like, global economics and stuff. And you're like, oh man, we need this now, yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And then, but now coming from my side, I'm always paying attention to like cultural relevance, cultural trends, like what's working, how are people communicating, what matters to people. And, this is something that everybody can understand when you think about your social media, whether you're a small business or just an individual like myself. I have consistently, you can find me everywhere. It's KDZ. I'm not hard, no matter what platform you want to find me on. And I can do that because I have, this little vanity handle on social and on Venmo and everywhere else. But now I can do this with crypto. And as we are integrating with more and more exchanges and wallets, it's getting so much more fluid for me to be able to go in and out, be able to send and receive. More and more wallets are adding on to that request feature, which I love, to be able to say, okay, so, here's what I need the money for, or paying for somebody, things like that, that memo data that you were talking about. So yeah, I encourage those who are just getting in touch with FIO now for the first time, just hearing about it, maybe heard about it once or twice. There's going to be some links below in the video, so dig around, you can read more. Um, Anything you want to add on to that, or you want to talk
No,
about?
that's great. I love hearing the backstory of how you got interested as well. And I think it was fun. Actually, last month was the first month that we started paying our worker proposals. And FIO runs as a Cayman nonprofit entity. We are a decentralized autonomous consortia, a DAC, where basically the community comes together in conjunction with the actual board of the foundation, the Cayman entity board, works together with the community to say, we're going to create value for everyone through worker proposals, and we're going to evaluate which proposals get funded or not. So Katie joining the team, for example, myself being on the team, we're all working under this worker proposal model. And last month was the first month that we paid everyone using FIO requests. So it was really kind of fun. Like each different member with an active proposal sent me, as the managing director responsible for the budget, the agreed upon amount in a FIO request. And it was super great. Some of them were in FIO tokens, some of them were in Bitcoin tokens, some of them, USDT, whatever it might be. And it was just neat to be like, we're eating our own dog food. And it's something that they talk about in the software industry. But you always want to use the software that you're building, because you'll have the opportunity to, as a user, realize how it can be improved, realize how it can be fixed. For example, working with Paul at the Edge wallet, there were a couple requests that would just like spin. And so working with their team saying, oh, here's how you go and, definitely submit the logs to us so we can figure out what's going on there and get that resolved, and I love that when you have the committed team working on it, being able to use it on a regular basis, it's the best way to find those type of things and continue improving it.
So here's a question for you that I haven't asked you before. So FIO has been operating with this, moving into that more decentralized autonomous consortia where people have to submit a worker proposal and they get paid in cryptocurrency. And how, as we are, in your words, eating our own dog food, and we're doing it more so as the standard, how has that changed what you're experiencing as somebody who has to pay these out? Has that improved that experience for you, made it easier to contextualize, okay, this is going to Katie?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because in the traditional world, you have to be like, all right, I sent you a test send to some random string of characters. Did you get it? Because I don't want to like pay some other random person. We use Jira and Atlassian very well, and it's pretty well organized as far as tracking the active proposals. But what if somebody else came along and said, look, I'm KDZ, pay me now because I did this work. Being able to know, okay, that is the same KDZ as a FIO address that I know of and that I can send to confidently has been really nice. So yeah, not having to do test sends to make sure you're sending to the right person, having cryptographic confidence that the owner and controller of that FIO address is the only person that can map that Bitcoin address or FIO address or whatever the mapping address is under the hood. So it's been really nice. And it reminds me kind of like, this is what's expected from people in traditional centralized financial systems, whether it's PayPal, Venmo, whatever it might be. And it's just really encouraging to say we're finally catching up to those experiences without sacrificing anything in terms of you still don't have to rely on a third party. You still don't have, you're not introducing risk. You're still in self-sovereign control of a decentralized, secure system that you are the one behind, and working with. So it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to running payroll here in another 10 days or so. And it's neat. It's kind of fun. Or not payroll. These are just, decentralized active participants in the community. But it does kind of feel like a team, and that's the cool part about it. With a DAC, it's not your traditional like employment situation by any means. Everyone's an independent contractor, but there is this sense of community and commitment that with the shared collaborative commons of what we're trying to accomplish, this shared goal. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, to add on to that, so if you are interested to find out more or connect with any of us, a lot of those that are day in and day out working to improve and grow the FIO protocol and the network, you can find us on Discord. I think there's an easy URL. I'll link it below, but I believe it's
FIO protocol /chat.
Yeah.
FIOprotocol.io/chat. Would be love to chat with you in Discord. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So let's talk about so right now, if you're a crypto trader or you're using any of the exchanges, adding liquid I think would be a really big deal. So it isn't baked out yet, but they have announced that they are aiming to integrate this around in mid to late December. So hopefully soon users will be able to take advantage of that. But this will be the second exchange. So we have BitMax already. So if you are a crypto trader, this allows you to move in and out of those exchanges without having to double check and copy and paste and all of that, which would make it much, much easier. Is there anything that you want to add to help those who are just learning about FIO understand more about like the security measures that we've put in place for the address and what's going on behind the scenes of that?
Yeah, sure. And I do think, as we were talking about earlier, this mass adoption is inevitable. And I'm excited about the next billion people coming to cryptocurrency and not having to learn, like you don't learn about IP addresses when you go on the internet, right? You just type in the domain name and it pulls up the website. You don't have to worry about behind the scenes TCP, IP, HTTP, all the protocols that are making that user experience happen. You just know that you pull up your browser and you're having a good time. And that's the experience I want to give to new people entering cryptocurrency. But what's beautiful about that is we're not sacrificing any privacy, security, anything along those lines by offering that. So the way it works is essentially a FIO address or a FIO domain. Both of them are NFTs. They're non-fungible tokens. They're entities on the chain that you control. They're assigned.
Let's back up. Now, what is a FIO address and what is a FIO domain?
A FIO address would be in the format of a username with an @ symbol and then a domain. So similar to your email address, but without the .com or .edu or anything at the end. And
so you're Luke at Stokes.
Exactly.
And Luke would be your address portion, and the Stokes part that comes after the @ symbol is your domain.
Yes, it would be the username Luke and then the domain Stokes together. You get the full FIO address, Luke at Stokes. And the domains are interesting because if you're running a crypto community, you're part of a project, you have a wallet, you have a service you want to provide. I actually just had a great conversation earlier with someone doing some really cool stuff. So I probably can't get into that yet, but it was the idea that, he's like, I want my own domain. This is so cool because he could onboard his community in a way that in that particular instance, because domains can either be public or private. And if they're private, what that means is only the owner of the domain can register addresses on that domain on behalf of someone else. So I can still give someone their own self-sovereign FIO address where they have full, complete control of it, but it's almost like this special badge of honor, meaning you can only get it if that owner of that domain allows you to. And so it creates opportunities where we can have these little communities that recognize themselves based on their FIO addresses. And you can do very interesting things like you could have, KYC users, for example, if they've got a FIO address on a KYC domain, then any airdrops, for example, could know they're not going to get Sybil attacked if they only stuck to that particular domain, for example. So there's a lot of really cool marketing and co-marketing and really cool ideas that can be done. And this is all done very securely. This is EOS-IO-based technology that has been running for years at a very high level of performance and security. We've like for FIO requests, for example, we've designed Diffie-Hellman solutions in the way that both of the public keys are available when you know the two FIO addresses, and under the hood you get a shared key, so that message is completely encrypted and private between the two parties, and no one else can look at that information. So that includes the chain code, the token code, the actual address, such as like a Bitcoin address that's involved, the amount that's involved, and the metadata, FIO data about that transaction. All of that information is completely encrypted and secure between those two people. And again, only the private key holder that NFT, whether it's a domain or a FIO address, is attached to, only that private key can actually make changes to that FIO address. They're the only ones that can map a Bitcoin address or an Ethereum address, for example, to that FIO address. So you can have absolute confidence that if I say, hey, I'm Luke at Stokes, that whatever addresses I've mapped, I'm the only one that could have done those mappings. And I could change those mappings throughout the day if I wanted to, and it wouldn't matter. You can always know that if you send to me, it's going to get to me.
Very, very cool stuff. I want to keep this brief, but I do want to note too that, we will be in more regular cadence of putting these videos out. We can cover specific topics. I would like to actually, this is something that if you're in the Discord, you would see, I was chatting about in the marketing channel, the idea of doing YouTube lives and where, like an AMA style, but what we could do, getting creative, and give us your feedback. This is why I'm sharing it in this video. I'd love to hear what your feedback is. Just comment on it. But, where somebody could send a request, for 5 FIO tokens or something and submit their question with that. And then we'll be able to choose questions from their requests. And, maybe a couple of the folks that have submitted questions will reward them, thank them for, participating, for using the protocol. So, I mean, I would love to see some of that stuff come up. And, but yeah, we'll cover different topics. I do want to share on here a little bit. So let's talk about some where people can go to find information. So this was the blog that from Liquid. We also posted this onto our Medium page as well. All of these links will be below, and just bear with me. I have to move some stuff. I can't see. Here we have the ecosystem, which has to be updated still at the time of recording this video to include Liquid into the exchange section. But there are over a dozen different wallets and exchanges that are already integrating or have integrated FIO. And then you can see the different features of where they're at in their development process. So one of the best ways, if you use one of these wallets or exchanges and you want to see FIO protocol with them, start shouting it out on social media, tagging both FIO protocol and them. Let them know as a user you would love to see this, and then we can do what we're able to on our side and make sure that those conversations are happening. But that's definitely the best way to get what you want seen out into the wild here.
I love seeing that ecosystem page because it's just a reminder. I mean, those are name brands that you've heard of: Shapeshift and Edge Wallet, Infinito Wallet, really great companies, really great products and services. And it's the idea, again, that we're building something for the long term. We're changing the way users experience cryptocurrency. We're making it fun and joyful. And that is so important that we have this opportunity to do something that this space has never had before, where there's this protocol that transcends all the different products and services, all the different chains and tokens. Literally any token, any cryptocurrency that's supported by a wallet now has all the features of the FIO protocol. And that is just really, really important, because if we're going to come together as an industry and become really a standard for the world, we certainly have to up our game, right? We have to be a great experience, and that's what we're doing. And so I really appreciate those who see that vision and want to support it in many different ways that can express itself. And we're very excited, as you were saying, Katie, to connect people. If you know people at exchanges, people at wallets, and you can introduce them to the FIO protocol and let them know, hey, if you care about usability for your users, you want to become much, much easier as far as how users interact, especially those who aren't familiar today with cryptocurrency. This is the way to do it. And if they can prioritize it on their development roadmap and get it in there, that would be phenomenal.
And that's the thing too, for those who don't know, you can be confident when you're shouting out and saying, hey, I'm a user of Exodus or whoever. And you can say that, there are, I don't know if we want to call them bounties or incentives, but there are financial incentives to help offset the development cost for them, to make it as easy as possible to get this out and integrated into as many different products as we can, as quickly as we can too. So happy to have those discussions using this platform while I have it. If you're on the marketing and creative side and you want to leave comments, something that I know that I'm really passionate about and I'd love to bring into reality, particularly as we're looking into 2021, is on the charity side. Every charity has their own domain. So are they already accepting cryptocurrency? What if they were able to open that gateway for more donations and things like that? And I think having that branded crypto wallet address, that FIO address, makes it so much easier for their users, their donors, everybody to advertise. I mean, really, if you want to see a long public key in a tweet, here, send your Bitcoin donations to here. Like, come on, that's like so last year.
You can even do a form of subscriptions. Like if someone makes a commitment that I want to support your charity every month for X amount of money, we can just set up a process where you send out that FIO request every month and they see it in their wallet and like, oh yeah, I did make that commitment. I do want to support them. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and to underscore that this is, again, a decentralized autonomous consortia, as you're saying. So this is not, just a couple of people, behind some closed walls running things and calling decisions and shots. Communicate. I would love to hear from you guys. I'm definitely listening. I've got my ears plugged in. And so if you have ideas, leave them in the comments here, Telegram, Discord, we're there, Twitter, and we'll be listening so that we can improve and build it the way that you guys envision it, because this is your protocol. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. Super appreciate your time and your excitement, and just again, you getting so up to speed so quickly as part of our community, coming in, being immediately recognized by the other community, saying we want her on the steering committee, we want her being more involved. And so your enthusiasm and everything you've brought to this project so far has just been really phenomenal. So I appreciate it, and I look forward to what we're going to do in the future as well.
I'm very happy to be here. I don't plan on going anywhere until everyone tells me I've got to go. So, all right. Well, thanks again, Luke. And we will be seeing you guys soon. Bye, everyone.